Do you not have a beer?
I got another alcoholic beverage.
Oh, you went with the glass? You stupid bitch. You made me crack it my own?
I didn't even hear your crack.
Oh, well, it's I didn't hear your crack.
I didn't hear it, man. What are you drinking, though?
I am drinking Wit and Wisdom. It's a West Coast IPA from Red Rock Brewery, local to Salt Lake. 7% ABV.
Nice. I'm drinking a Jack and Coke tonight. I really enjoy Coke mixed with alcohol.
Cocaine and alcohol.
Wait, whoa! I didn't say that. No, you stop that right now. I am drinking a mixed beverage, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
So Jack Daniels and Coke?
Yeah, Jack and Coke.
I just didn't know if you had like another whiskey because I know you're a low baller. Welcome to the Abyss, everybody. It's a great Sunday, and it's a holiday weekend, so I've already started drinking, and I think it's a two-beer kind of episode, to be honest.
Yes, I like two-beer episodes.
But you're going to have a two-glass episode because you're doing the Jack and Coke.
I'll probably just sip some whiskey throughout the episode, to be honest with you. I just drink it straight because, I always mix whiskey with my regrets.
You got to get that hair on your chest somehow, buddy.
It's a good chaser.
Chase your regrets away with some liquor. So I went and watched a new movie. It's called Weapons. It was really fucking good. Cleet and I were kind of bantering off recording about movies and how shitty Hollywood is as of late. But I would say that Weapons is very, very good. It was kind of original in a sense where I haven't seen it. The ending was, I was like laughing hysterically. It was so fucking good. So good. So if you haven't seen Weapons, go out and watch it. Same people that made Barbarian. If you haven't seen Barbarian, go watch it.
You're not going to cover the plot at all. You're just going to say, you're going to give a Britain's 3 thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. Because I live in Chernobyl. I have 3 thumbs.
Britain's a mutant.
So the premise for those who don't know, it's a classroom of children that go missing suddenly, and it's all the same classroom. So one of the teachers, she comes in the next day, her entire class, except for one child, is all gone. And at 2:17 a.m. that night before, they all left their house and they just ran away. And so the story is what happened, and you dive into the whole thing. And honestly, it was really, really good. It was really original. It was something that hasn't been done before. So it was really, really good.
I will also throw in one of my things here. I watched Alien Earth, at least the first episode on Hulu.
Oh.
I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic just because with the Alien series, it's such a hit or miss. They either make a masterpiece, although I will say Romulus was okay. I liked it. I'm really excited for it because of the premise and a lot of the Alien comics, or I would say the Alien comics cover an alien invasion on Earth. So I would really just like to see an alien Earth Marine brawl on TV. I know the budget might be a little bit low, so maybe they wouldn't do that, but I would be so interested. I hope it's good. We'll see what happens.
I mean, Hulu, they're not struggling for money, and neither are the creators of Alien. So I think they can make it happen. And you're one episode in, so
one episode
give
in.
It room to breathe. Give it room to breathe. It might happen.
I said cautiously optimistic,
which I guess is high praise coming from you. So
yeah, I think it was okay. First episode.
Well, yeah, I want to watch it. I think I'm so far behind on the Alien stuff. I think the last Alien I watched was Prometheus, which is kind of a prequel of sorts. I don't know. The new Predator movie looks kind of interesting. So we'll see.
I didn't know they were coming out with one. I've never liked a Predator movie. Never liked one yet.
It's called Predator Badlands. I guess it's the start of
Get to the chopper! Get to the chopper! It's not a tumor.
Yeah, it doesn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. At least unless they AI him in. I don't know. It might.
He's just on a chopper.
He shows up as a cameo. It's the chopper. It looks pretty good though.
Right.
Clete, what are we covering tonight?
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be covering Three Eye Atlas, and this has been all over TikTok. It's about the interstellar object, which is the second one traveling through our solar system. If you guys recall, Oumuamua was the first one. Three Eye Atlas is definitely turning some heads because of some abnormalities with this object. Obviously, we don't see a lot of interstellar objects coming through our solar system. And this one is very peculiar because the trajectory of this comet is, it's like if humans were to design some type of probe to go through a solar system, this is how they would design it, because it's coming through to visit like a bunch of planets at once. And it's also at the same time like evasive on how it passes through Earth, because at some point, like, we're not going to be able to see it. There's light emitting from it. But yeah, we're going to be covering that. Are we going to be invaded by aliens in November? You know, like, damn. Ooh.
You know, that's the big question is like, is it Cambridge or one of the big prestigious Ivy Leagues? They're guessing that it is an alien spacecraft. He said it was that's set.
He said it's plausible. Like, he's definitely someone who says, like, hey, like, he tries to stay away from dogma within the scientific community. I mean, and he points out to the fact that there is some very peculiar things about this object, in that it wouldn't be so far-fetched to make the inference that it could be an alien object in space.
But I did hear too that it could become dangerously close to Mars, where some are saying like it could collide with Mars, which would be kind of wild.
Elon would be pissed. He's like, no, my planet,
not Mars.
I didn't hear that.
Need to get to Mars. But yeah, I'm really excited to dive into it. I don't know. I mean, look, aliens exist somewhere out there. It's too big of a solar system not to have aliens, but I don't know. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime, personally.
Yeah. What Bryn said off the set is, I believe there's aliens out there, but are they hot?
I'm just waiting for my butt to be probed, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Jerry and the boys probed you. Okay, we're done. Back in the Prius.
you fuck. All right. So you said I'm starting off then? All right, folks. Well, buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and join us while we cover the mysterious asteroid that's plummeting through space. So 31 Atlas isn't just any space rock. It's only the third object ever observed arriving from beyond our solar system. It's discovered on July the 1st, 2025 by the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile. This cosmic interloper announced itself while still 4.5 astronomical units out. That's beyond Jupiter's orbit. It was immediately clear that 31 Atlas was no ordinary comet. It was moving far too fast and on a path too exaggeratedly curved to be bound by the sun's gravity. In fact, its orbit has an eccentricity of about 6.14, a wildly hyperbolic trajectory that guarantees it came from interstellar space and will soon slingshot back out. For context, our first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, in 2017 had an eccentricity of negative 1.2. Or about 1.2. And the second comet, Borisov, in 2019, about 3.6. 31 Atlas blows past both in every sense.
You know, I call that a BBC Britain. Bigger, brighter comet.
I didn't know where you were going with that one, but bigger, brighter comet. All right.
Yeah, BBC. What do you mean? Why do you... The BBC.
British broadcast. We're good.
Yeah, BBC.
It certainly has that larger-than-life reputation. Early reports hailed 31 Atlas as the largest interstellar object ever seen, with estimates that it could be on the order of 10 to 20 kilometers across. That would dwarf Oumuamua.
It's Hawaiian. Oumuamua.
I know. Oumuamua. This is my walkout balcony, man. This is my walkout balcony. That would dwarf Oumuamua and even Borisov's nucleus. However, as astronomers gathered more data, they began to suspect the 31 Atlas's impressive brightness might be deceptive. It's an active comet with a glowing atmosphere of gas and dust, so the actual solid nucleus hiding inside could be much smaller, maybe less than a kilometer in diameter. In other words, it might look like a 7-mile wide behemoth in telescopes. But that's mostly its fuzzy coma playing tricks on us. The Hubble Space Telescope's sharp images suggest the nucleus could be under 1 kilometer across, which is still nothing to sniff at, but far from a planet killer. And don't worry, it's not headed our way. 31 Atlas will never come closer than about a 1.8 AU to Earth, and poses no threat of collision.
Yeah, you know me. I got all my emergency foods, so kind of glad that we know that we're not going to be wiped out like the dinosaurs in a couple of months.
I mean, how do you plan for something like that, man? Just like, the comet's coming. We're done.
Bullets.
Just shoot at it.
No for other people.
You just start killing everyone else.
Don't take my food anyway. Right before. No, dude, it's dark, you nihilistic fool.
Nihilistic. There you go. Indeed, our interstellar visitor is just passing through. It's currently on a rapid inbound arc and will reach its closest point to the sun, around 1.36 AU away, between Earth's and Mars's orbit, in late October 2025. After that, the sun's gravity will slingshot it back into the darkness of space, never to return. So we have a limited time to study this cosmic wanderer as it enters the abyss, wink wink, of our solar inner system, and then exits stage left, off to the stars again. So let's break down what makes 31 Atlas so fascinating in both scientific and downright spooky ways. We're going to explore the discovery and weird chemistry, a puzzling glow that led one scientist to propose an internal light or even a nuclear engine, the wild idea that it could be an alien ship, and how conspiracy theorists have roped it into something called Project Blue Beam. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride through space fact and speculation.
It's going to be one of these episodes, folks. I'm just going to take a sip of whiskey and let me just take over real quick. Hang on here.
Take over.
Picture a cold July night in 2025 at the Rio Herdero Observatory in Chile. The automated eyes of the Atlas survey are scanning the heavens for anything unusual. At 5:11 a.m., on July 1st, an algorithm flags a moving point of light in a starry field. Astronomers quickly realize this isn't a known asteroid or comet. It's dubbed C/2025N1 Atlas and given a cryptic temporary ID, A11PL3Z. But within 24 hours, as follow-up observations pour in, excitement skyrockets. This object's orbit doesn't close around the sun. It's an open-ended trajectory, a one-way ticket from the depths of space. The official designation changes to 3I Atlas, marking it as the third interstellar object ever confirmed. The discovery was announced and immediately drew parallels to the two predecessors. Oumuamua had flashed through in 2017, a tumbling cigar or pancake-shaped oddball that appeared to accelerate slightly without a comet tail, sparking whispers of alien technology. Borisov, discovered in 2019, was much more normal, basically a visiting comet from another star, complete with a visible tail of gas and dust. Now comes 3I Atlas in 2025, almost as if the cosmos decided to up the ante each time. It was bigger, brighter, comet, a real BBC hitting our solar system.
You just have to get BBC in there as much as possible, don't you?
Yeah, spotted farther out than Oumuamua. And even Borisov. Astronomers buzzed with excitement, calling 3I Atlas the largest and brightest interstellar visitor yet, a chance to get unprecedented data on a chunk of another star system.
And it gives us a chance to answer that burning question. Is it a natural comet or something else? It is funny because it reminds me of like Austin Powers. Like, looks like a great big pair of like the comet that's on the radar.
Yeah.
Get your hot dog. Get your hot dog.
It looks like a big dick. Dick, are you seeing this?
This is what it reminded me of when we were talking about it. But it does give us a chance to study it, and I hope that we get a lot of information as it passes as close as it will to us.
Exactly. But first and foremost, scientists treated as a comet, an ancient icy relic from far beyond. Calculations indicate 3I Atlas likely hails from the Milky Way's thick disk.
Thick. Two C's.
A region of older stars. It could be staggering, 7 billion years old, formed long before the sun even existed. Imagine, this object might have wandered the galaxy for eons, kicked out of its birth star's planetary system and drifting in the interstellar void until fate sent it our way. When discovered, it was bound toward the inner solar system at a blistering speed of about 58 kilometers per second relative to the sun. That's over 130,000 miles per hour.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
At that speed, you could circle Earth in about 7 minutes. It's moving so fast that the sun's gravity can't capture it. Instead, the sun merely bends its path into a sharp curve before 3I Atlas escapes forever. Another intriguing detail. 3I Atlas' path is oddly aligned with the plane of our solar system. It's coming in on retrograde orbit, inclined only at 5 degrees to the ecliptic. In other words, it's almost like it's snuck in along the same highway our planets use, just going the wrong way. Statistically, that's unusual. If interstellar objects come from random directions, you wouldn't expect many to neatly hug the planetary line. One astrophysicist pointed out that only 1 in 500 random incoming objects would align so closely with the ecliptic by chance. This coincidence raised a few eyebrows, as we'll discuss later.
It's just weird because, like, it drops in completely unannounced, right, from another star. But then it follows some weird, like, almost like road rules, like it's following something that it shouldn't. Because if you didn't know better, you'd say that it wanted to blend in. Like, it almost looks like it's trying to not stand out.
Yeah. And apparently, like, its trajectory will be able to, like, view all the planets. So, like, if you were, like, an alien war species, like, this would be a great probe to kind of, like, figure out, like, are there any intelligent life in the solar system? And in a funny way, its trajectory, too, is really just blending in. In fact, 3I Atlas's route through our solar system is such that it passes near the orbits of several planets, coming relatively close to Jupiter, to Mars, and even Venus' orbital pass.
Told you, it's going to hit Mars. It's going to fucking take out Mars, dude. We're going to watch Mars be obliterated.
Take this,
and then Elon Musk is going to...
Precious planet. Take that, Tesla. The stock goes down in Tesla.
He's going to go take a drive in his Tesla and cry because Mars is no more.
Short Tesla in November. Yeah, I'm kidding. It's not a financial device. Anyways, Loeb, the Harvard professor we'll talk about soon, noted that the odds of an interstellar object also swinging by those particular orbits are like 1 in 20,000. Which, like, I'm, like, kind of questioning where they get these numbers, you know?
Yeah, where does that come from?
We've had 3 interstellar objects in, like, 5 years, and like, oh, this is 1 in 20,000. Under what sample size, sir? Let's talk about that.
Especially because we know, like, this year, we know that the UFOs come from our oceans. It's not space.
Dude, that's true, actually. It's very true. A lot of... I mean, if you were a UFO that could, like, bend space and time, the oceans would be the best place to set up your base. Yeah. It's as if 3I Atlas were threading a needle through our solar system. To be clear, near the orbits doesn't mean the planets themselves at the same time. It's not actually visiting Jupiter or Venus, but the trajectory coincides with their orbital distance at different times. Still, that fine-tuned path is another head-scratcher that had folks muttering about non-random forces at work. But before we venture into speculation, let's stick to what our instruments have actually observed. After discovery, telescopes worldwide turned their gaze to 3I Atlas, hungry to gather every bit of data during its fleeting appearance. And what they found was, well, weird. Time for the science. The hard BBC facts. that only raised more questions. The questions
start-
only got girthier.
I'm going to start making a tally mark every time you say BBC. I think we're up to 7.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
All right. So as Cleet said, we're going to dive into some more of the scientific curiosities. The first thing astronomers noticed is 3i Atlas was already active even when it was distant. It sported a glowing coma of gas and dust way out beyond 6 AU from the sun. That's farther than Jupiter, where sunlight is weak and most comets are still frozen solid. Typically, a comet starts waking up or outgassing around 3 to 5 AU if it has easy to vaporize ices like CO2 or CO. Sure enough, 3i Atlas began shedding material early, a clue that it contains very volatile stuff, the kind that boils off at low temperatures. When NASA's James Webb Space Telescope took its first peek in August 25, it found something astonishing. 3i Atlas had one of the highest carbon dioxide to water ratios ever seen in a comet. In its coma, CO2 gas dominates while the usual water vapor is relatively scarce. Scientists reported that CO2-rich composition in a reprint study, noting its CO2 to H2O ratio is among the highest ever seen in any comet. In plain terms, the interstellar visitor is belching out carbon dioxide like crazy, but only a trickle of water. That's basically the opposite of most familiar comets, which are water ice with a bit of CO2 or carbon monoxide mixed in. One idea is that 3i Atlas formed in an extremely cold region of its original star system, near the CO2 ice line, or was bombarded by radiation for eons, depleting its water. Either way, it's chemically exotic. So get this. Astronomers using the Very Large Telescope in Chile detected vaporized nickel in the comet's coma. Nickel, traces of atomic Ni gas without the usual companion of iron they see in solar system comets. This odd detection hints at some unknown chemical process releasing nickel from the nucleus. Perhaps 3i Atlas's long interstellar journey allowed nickel to sublimate in a way we don't typically see. It's another sign that this object carries pristine, ancient material from a star system quite unlike our own. As 3i Atlas drew closer, telescopes observed that it continued to brighten and develop a classic comet tail. Initially, back in July, the Hubble Space Telescope images showed a teardrop-shaped fuzzy coma with no obvious long tail. But by late August, the VLT captured a faint tail starting to emerge. The comet's volatiles were kicking into higher gear. Interestingly, the coma was visibly asymmetric. A lot of material was streaming off the side facing the sun, while the anti-sunward side was relatively dim. The sunward glow became a big point of interest and controversy, as we'll see. All these observations paint a picture of 3i Atlas as truly otherworldly. It's like a time capsule from another cosmic neighborhood, carrying different ices and elements than we're used to. Scientists are giddy because studying its makeup might reveal new insights into how comets form around other stars. One researcher said, "We just cracked open the door to a whole new world of chemistry that we never had access to before." It's hard to overstate how precious this opportunity is, catching a piece of another star's leftovers flying by, and sniffing its vapors with JWST and other instruments. I just gotta sniff those vapors, man.
Yeah, it's like interstellar Maury, you know? We're like running tests, figuring things out. In Britain, you are the father.
What? This is my son flying across the universe?
You ever seen Maury?
Yeah.
You are. We ran the test.
You are
the father. No!
No! And the crowd goes crazy. And it's like the mom's like, I told you.
I'm gonna get fucking child support.
Dude, the fucking people that went on that show. Maury. Fucking crazy. Dude, nothing tops the 90s. Nothing will ever top the 90s.
Can't
Show
do
it
that
its
anymore.
peak.
Can't do that anymore. Oompa
Not legally.
Loompas. You remember Oompa Loompas?
Oh, I remember Oompa Loompas, dude. You can't
The guy
do that
from
anymore.
the guy from Game of Thrones, he gets upset about that. Closing the door behind him. All right, go ahead.
Dude, he's the new Toxic Avenger. Did you know that?
He's so amazing. Dude, shut up. He's not.
No, Google it. I promise you right now, Toxic Avenger, it's Peter Dinklage. He is. Just do it, dude. It's a new movie. They're making Toxic Avenger again, dude. And Peter Dinklage is the fucking Toxic Avenger.
Leave us alone.
And let's not forget context. Oumuamua had practically no detectable gas at all, which made it mysterious. Borisov did have a normal coma with lots of water vapor, very comet-like. Now, 3I Atlas is a strange hybrid, definitely a comet, but with a bizarre composition and some initially puzzling morphology. It's enriching our sample size of interstellar objects and showing that they can be extremely diverse. Each one has been unique so far, keeping everyone on their toes. The scientific consensus with all these telescope data is that 3I Atlas is indeed a comet, a natural, if weird, chunk of ice and rock from beyond. Most astronomers firmly believe it's just a comet, albeit an ancient and chemically intriguing one. But, and this is where our story takes a turn, not everybody is satisfied with the just a comet explanation. There's that strange sunward glow and lack of a long tail in early images that got certain researchers thinking outside the box. And once you open that box, all sorts of wild ideas leap out, from nuclear-powered lights to alien ships. Are you ready to take a dive into the deep end?
Yeah, man. Let's look at this big old comet.
BBC, man. This big bitchin' comet.
Big bitchin' comet. All right. So here's where things positively become illuminating in every sense. When the Hubble Space Telescope snapped a high-resolution photo of 3I Atlas on July 21st, 2025, something looked off. The image showed a bright glow on the side facing the sun, but no evidence for a bright cometary trail streaming out behind. In other words, the usual comet behavior, a tail pushed away from the sun by solar radiation, wasn't obvious. Instead, the comet looked like a little headlight shining in a direction it was moving. Scientists led by David Jowett interpreted the glow as a sun-heated coma of dust right around the nucleus. The dust was likely being vaporized off the sun-facing surface, and maybe the tail was just faint or made of particles too small to see easily. That's one perfectly reasonable interpretation. Even Dr. Ave Leob, a Harvard astrophysicist known for boldly going where others fear to tread in terms of a hypothesis, Loeb took a closer look at the brightness profile of the coma. Technically, he noted that the surface brightness dropped off with distance from the nucleus in a way that's much steeper than normal comet's dust cloud. Typically, a dust coma's brightness falls as 1 divided by radius squared when just reflecting sunlight. But Hubble's data for 3I Atlas showed something more like 1 divided by the radius. It's not squared, but what do you call it when it's like to the 4th degree?
Quadrupled? It's so squared, cubed, and... Is it cubed?
A very sharp decline. To Loeb and his colleague, Dr. Eric Keto, this hinted at an alternative model. What if the dust cloud isn't lit by the sun alone? What if it's being lit by a central light source right at its nucleus? Imagine the nucleus of a comet itself is glowing or emitting energy, illuminating the surrounding dust from within. In that scenario, the combined effect of dust density and the light spreading out from within the center could produce the 1 divided by r to the 4th brightness pattern. Loeb basically said if 3I Atlas generates its own light, it could account for the weirdly steep brightness drop-off.
So it's basically a comet with its own built-in flashlight. Like it's just emitting its own light. It's not Halley's Comet, right? So
yeah, not like, a flashlight, but like a flashlight.
Oh, it's definitely not a flashlight, right?
Is a flashlight a flashlight? I don't know.
I mean, it is if you put it is if you put a light in it.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, it does sound crazy at first, but Loeb crunched the numbers. If the brightness weren't mostly reflected sunlight but emitted light, then the object might be much smaller than the 10 to 20 kilometers diameter one would infer from reflected sunlight. In fact, Loeb estimated that to produce the observed luminosity, the nucleus would need to be pumping out on the order of 10 gigawatts of power. That's like a dozen nuclear power plants output. And if there were a high temperature source, a tiny object under 100 meters across would do it. A compact 100-meter object that's internally lit could shine like a 20-kilometer object reflecting. And interestingly, 100 meters is about the scale of a Oumuamua and many asteroids, which is a lot more plausible for interstellar visitor frequency, because this size, Britain, is like a total outlier.
It's huge.
A 20-kilometer rock wandering into our system is statistically very rare, maybe 1 in 10,000 years, whereas a 100-meter object could be far more common. Loeb basically argues the data might actually favor a small, self-illuminated object over a huge reflective one. Naturally, the question is, what could be lighting it up? Loeb explores a few exotic possibilities, and this is where it gets, I would say, really interestingly speculative. So one is called not a black hole. He amusingly notes a tiny primordial black hole radiating Hawking radiation at 1000 K would only emit a pitiful 20 nanowatts, nowhere near enough. So scratch the black hole idea. It could be a radioactive rock. Maybe it's a fragment from a supernova, rich in radioactive elements. Essentially, a natural nuclear reactor. That'd be extremely unlikely, but they have existed on Earth at some point. It could also be friction heating. Could interstellar gas be ramming into the object and heating it up? He calculated that the dust outflow, momentum versus ram pressure of gas, doesn't work out. That model is marginally ruled out and would require unrealistic dense surrounding gas. So no, it's not just air friction. The next possibility would be alien tech, specifically nuclear power. The remaining tantalizing option is an artificial source. Loeb proposed that 3I Atlas could be a spacecraft powered by nuclear energy, with dust shedding off the front like a boat kicking up a bow wave. Perhaps the dirt on its surface accumulated over eons of travel. It's being blown off as it nears the sun, creating that coma while an internal reactor or some power source produces the glow. He was careful to say this is highly speculative, but cannot be ruled out without better evidence. In a blog post, Does 3I Atlas generate its own light? Loeb basically lit the match on this idea. He concluded that the simplest interpretation is indeed that the nucleus produced most of the light observed. And if that's true, then something powerful must be at work in the tiny nucleus. With nuclear power being the most natural way to get gigawatt luminosity, he even mused that this scenario would shrink 3I Atlas down to a size comparable to a Oumuamua or Borisov, making it fit more neatly with expectations. All of this was laid out as a hypothesis and not a firm claim.
So, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, maybe it's a decoy duck with an LED inside.
Bold claim there, bold claim. That's one way to put it. Loeb used to stir in the pot. He famously suggested that a Oumuamua might have been an alien light sail because of the strange acceleration. With 3I Atlas, he is suggesting it might be an alien lamp of sorts. Importantly, he doesn't assert it is a spacecraft. He just says, if all natural explanations fall short, we would be open to the technological possibility. And to his credit, he acknowledged that his blog post that the most likely outcome is that 3I Atlas will turn out to be natural, probably a comet. But hey, it's fun to explore the what if, scientifically playfulness, if you will. So, what was the reaction? Let's just say that many in the astronomy community were not convinced. They point out that as 3i Atlas gets closer to the sun, it has indeed started behaving more like a normal comet, developing a tail. They also caution that detecting things like water or certain gases at a great distance is hard. Early on, some chemicals weren't identified simply because the object is still faint and far, not necessarily because they weren't there. In fact, subsequent observations did detect water vapor, cyanide, and other typical comet substances by mid-August. Once the comet got more active, that undercuts the no chemicals anomaly Loeb initially noted. Cometary experts like Dr. Daryl Siegman pointed out that 3i Atlas has displayed classical comet signatures. When observed thoroughly, nothing definitively alien. Siegman basically said, "We've caught it early. Give it time and you'll see the usual comma stuff."
So they're basically just saying that like it's just an interesting comet rather than UFO. So like the idea they're taking is like give it time, but right now it's just a comet, right? There's nothing special about this.
It's just a really big comet. Very much so.
Just a big old BBC flying through space.
Yeah, really getting Earth. But this is where science meets speculation head on.
It's a girthy rock.
Girth. Loeb's lead emission theory naturally feeds into a bigger, bolder idea. What if 3i Atlas is not just comet-like, but actually some kind of alien craft? After all, if one entertains a nuclear-powered light source in the nucleus, that's practically a spaceship engine concept. And sure enough, this brings us to the alien ship hypothesis, which sounds straight out of science fiction or maybe horror, depending on your perspective.
And I mean, if you're listening to our show, then you're kind of leaning towards the latter. So let's jump into the alien ship hypothesis. So the idea of 3i Atlas being an alien spacecraft didn't stay confined to Loeb's musings for long. By mid-July of 25, Loeb and a few colleagues went a step further and published a paper on ARXIV that openly speculated 3i Atlas could be a hostile extraterrestrial spacecraft. Yes, they used the words hostile and spacecraft. This paper cited the object's anomalous features. The apparently large size, the initial lack of identifiable chemical signatures, and an improbable trajectory aligned with the ecliptic plane, as reasons to consider an artificial origin. It was like shouting, "What if it's aliens?" in a crowded astronomy conference. Naturally, it grabbed headlines and ignited a firestorm of criticism from other scientists. It's that sentence that reminded me of when we went to Phenomicon, and that guy's like, "I know that you know that I know that you know that Bigfoot fucked a pterodactyl." It's kind of weird.
You sound like a creep, buddy. You sound like a creep.
And he jumped up like 6 times, man.
Yeah, he was annoying.
The overwhelming consensus among experts was summed up by Live Science: it is a comet. Full stop. Many researchers were frankly disappointed that the alien hypothesis was stealing the spotlight, calling it a distraction from genuine scientific work. Renowned astronomers like Chris Lintott voiced immediate skepticism. YouTuber astronomer Scott Manley and astrophysicist David Kipping dissected Loeb's statistics and trajectory analysis, pointing out flaws. The sentiment was that the paper jumped to an extraordinary claim without extraordinary evidence. Samantha Lawler, another astronomer, said this pushes open-mindedness to the limit, and reminded everyone that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. With great power comes great responsibility.
Damn you, Carl Sagan.
Evidence Loeb's paper absolutely did not have.
In academic terms, that's what we call a professional smackdown. Grave digger here. You're going down.
That's a BBC smackdown.
A big old BBC smackdown.
Get a big old BBC. The pushback was strong. One by one, observed facts reasserted the natural explanation. Telescopes did find the chemicals once 3i Atlas got a bit closer. So it wasn't sterile or devoid of volatiles. We just caught it very early. Its coma and tail appeared as expected for a comet given time. Its large size was likely overestimated due to the coma's brightness. As we discussed, it's probably not a 20-kilometer monolith, but a smaller nucleus with a lot of gas. In other words, the anomalies have been melting away under the heat of further observation, much like the comet's ices under the sun. Still, the allure of alien spaceship hypothesis is hard to resist, especially in the public imagination. It doesn't help that Avi Loeb has a track record of courting the alien explanation. He previously suggested Oumuamua might be artificial, and even speculated that a meteor that fell into the ocean near Papua New Guinea in 2014 could have been an alien probe that crashed. Those ideas got him a lot of media attention and criticism from peers, well before 3i Atlas showed up. So by now, whenever Loeb speaks up about an interstellar object, people brace for the word aliens.
You know, Britt and I just want to believe. I can tell you that. I want to believe.
You want to believe it's aliens?
Yeah. I'm telling you, November, man, we might get invaded. All the ice cream trucks. Coming to get our kids, man.
The ice cream trucks.
Yeah.
I think it's like Mars invades.
That's a good movie. I enjoyed that.
It's a good movie. All right.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
To be fair, Loeb's view is that we should be open-minded and test these possibilities rather than dismiss them outright. In his own words, he defended the hypothesis as an interesting exercise that's fun to explore, introspective of its likely validity. In the end, he expects 3i Atlas will turn out natural, but he enjoys probing the what-if scenario.
Yeah, the good old probe, man. BBC probe.
It's a bit like cosmic detective work. You consider even the wild suspects until evidence rules them out. Now, beyond Loeb, the idea of an alien ship gained traction in the fringe and conspiracy circles too. Almost as soon as the news broke about a mysterious object inbound, social media lit up with speculation. Some folks on forums and TikTok began calling 3i Atlas an alien mothership or a probe possibly carrying extraterrestrial beings. It didn't help that Loeb used the words hostile in his paper. That conjured images of War of the Worlds. Suddenly, there were viral posts claiming an alien invasion could be imminent, or that authorities were covering up the object's true nature. A particularly bizarre story came from a self-described interdimensional communicator, Emily Eaton, who went viral on TikTok. She claimed she was a telepathic contact with aliens aboard 3i Atlas's ships. According to her, the object is absolutely a spacecraft, but not hostile. She insisted the aliens had told her there's nothing to fear. I don't know if I'd believe that. You get a transmission, It's like, there's nothing to fear, by the way. This is for pleasure, not for science.
I mean, you remember like Mars Attacks. They were like, we come in peace. And they just start shooting everybody after like the bird scares them or whatever. Every alien show, they always go, we come in peace. And then they start ass blasting everybody.
Yeah. I think Mars Attacks is one of the best movies there is, man.
Dude, it was a classic.
So good. My aunt has one of the big animatronics of that show just right in her living room. It's fucking amazing. What? It's so cool. Okay. So there's nothing to fear. In her narrative, these beings are doing a bit of alien theater, deliberately letting our telescopes detect their craft as a way of gently making their presence known. They supposedly chose a strategic flight path to come as close as possible without disrupting Earth, hitting those planetary orbits we mentioned just to get our attention.
Okay, so the aliens are just kind of saying like, hey, here we are. What are you going to do about it? To me, that's like almost more scary because they're like, we're not even afraid to, like if I was a military commander, I'd be like, they're not even afraid to disguise themselves. They must be so technologically advanced. They're just like, what are you going to do about it?
It's kind of like a taunt, right? I mean, I feel like that would be like if aliens ever made themselves known, I immediately feel like we would jump to immediate defense because I think we would just be ready for an attack. Because
Well-
if they made their way to us, that would be proving that they were way more technologically advanced than we were, right?
I mean, that's a little bit of an assumption, but maybe. I mean, I would probably say that what would probably be scary is, I mean, we're pretty hostile ourselves to like other countries, people of differing ideologies, even in the same country, or even goddamn sports teams. Like we're kind of like a violent species, and I guess the question would be, evolution, like through evolution on other planets, like would that be similar? You know, would they be looking to gain resources or not? And I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking says don't reach out.
Yeah, because he's like, you're going to get a response.
You're gonna make us paralyzed.
Don't reach out. Don't.
You dumb, you dumb potato.
You idiot. Don't reach out.
I'm on Epstein's Island right now.
They built some accessible ramps for me. Jesus
It's
Christ.
ADA accessible, you barbarians.
It's more ADA accessible than half the stuff on the mainland, you freaks. Okay. But it's kind of wild. She even claimed that some shadowy, higher than government group is already in contact with these aliens. It's the whole conspiracy smorgasbord. Secret elites, alien messages, you name it. Of course, there's zero evidence for any of that. It's modern folklore blossoming in real life, but it shows how 3i Atlas became a canvas for alien arrival theories. To skeptics, it's all nonsense and pareidolia, seeing intent where there's just nature. To believers, though, the timing and the oddities are just too much to ignore. We should also mention, because it leads into our next section, that the alien ship idea intersected with an existing conspiracy theory known as Project Bluebeam. As soon as alien spacecraft entered the conversation, some conspiracy-minded folks started saying, "Aha! This is Project Bluebeam in action?" So, we're going to go ahead and decode that now.
Yeah. So going back to Project Bluebeam, which we've talked a lot on our podcast, but if you haven't heard of it yet, it's a classic. It's a classic conspiracy. In short, Bluebeam is a theory that governments, often implicating NASA or the UN or some secret cabal, are planning to stage a fake alien invasion or divine second coming using advanced technology. This idea was popularized in the 1990s by Serge Monast, who described a supposed plan involving holographic projections in the sky and electromagnetic mind control to create a new world order. It's the granddaddy of the government will fake an alien threat conspiracy. So whenever something extraterrestrial makes the news, UFOs, mysterious comets, etc., the Bluebeam folks perk up, suspecting a ploy. With 3i Atlas, it didn't take long for Bluebeam to be invoked. On social media, some suggested that perhaps 3i Atlas itself was part of a staged event. For example, a user on X argued that a Project Bluebeam scenario is far more than likely than aliens, in explaining 3i Atlas's appearance. You know, like, I don't think that's not a true statement. Because, I mean, I would say that aliens is more unlikely, in my opinion. I would suggest Occam's razor could be pointing to it towards the government. But anyways, in their view, maybe this interstellar comet is being hyped up by NASA as an alien craft to prep the public for a fake invasion narrative, or that its trajectory or glow could even be manufactured, like it's not even a real comet at all, but some projection or human-made object passing off as natural. Essentially, they suspected we were being set up for a colossal hoax, an alien arrival that our governments have orchestrated.
So it's like just a typical flip to the script, right? It's not aliens tricking us, but our own leaders tricking us into thinking that it might be aliens. So, I mean, conspiracies all over the fucking place. You got alien speculation, some double layer of paranoia. Who is it? Aliens or the government?
Yes, exactly. A double feature of cosmic paranoia. One flavor says real aliens are here, government is hiding it. Another one says, no, we are the aliens, bro. With 3i Atlas, you see both swirling around. Some Bluebeam theorists even claim the object might be holographic or a cleverly timed discovery to coincide with increased UFO chatter in the news. They'll point out that in 2023 to 2025 had a lot of talk of UAPs, and whistleblowers in Congress. So, of course, an alien comet shows up. How convenient. In reality, that's likely pure coincidence, but in conspiratorial thinking, nothing is coincidental. One specific angle of Bluebeam is this context. If someday soon governments announce we've detected signals of 3i Atlas, or aliens might be riding that comet, the Bluebeam crowd would immediately say, "Don't believe it, it's a false flag." They recall historical parallels like the 1938 War of the World radio broadcast that panicked some listeners, only now with high-tech visuals. There's also precedent in pop culture. Remember the movie Independence Day? It had a giant alien ship hiding in a coma of a comet to sneak towards Earth. They also call it like predictive programming. Have you heard of that, Britton? So predictive programming is the idea that elites put in programming that's going to happen in the near future to get our consent of something. It's the idea that the Illuminati or like the powerful elites, they have to do that for whatever reason. And they'll point to like certain examples of that. Like you'll see it in The Simpsons. Do you remember the conspiracy about 9/11? How when they went to New York to go see it, the pamphlet had like a 9 and an 11 on it, essentially.
Yeah, The Simpsons has been predicting shit. It's wild, dude.
Well, I mean, we don't want to go down the 9/11 rabbit hole because it is like so crazy. Like the evidence that points that it was an inside job is so crazy, man.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
Which maybe we should go into it on an episode, but I don't know. I hear that's like maybe taboo for YouTube. But anyways, yeah, like for whatever reason, people believe that they have to get some type of consent from us, and that's showing us their plans, essentially. But anyways, Bluebeamers are undoubtedly aware of such storylines and might be bracing for life to imitate art.
It's that ironic twist because in the event that aliens ever do show up, right, it's safe to say that a lot of us are not going to believe it because we think that our own people had faked it. I mean, we're practically primed and bred, I guess, to essentially say, yeah, we know this is happening because we've kind of been programmed for it. Like it's not real. But
yeah, like when has the government ever lied to us ever? Like I trust the government 100%. They've never lied.
They never lie. Yeah,
they never try to like steal power and debank people, and I don't know, man.
No. It is crazy because I know I alluded to it, but like I think if aliens ever did show up, there would be like a genuine divide of like people. You'd have half. I don't know if it's like half, but you'd have a good chunk of the people that were like, yeah, no, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Doesn't matter. The evidence could be right there, and people are like, no, it's fake. But then a lot of people are like, no, it's fucking aliens, right? But what do you believe anymore with the constant, social media, with the constant news? But I feel like if aliens actually did show up, that would be fucking everywhere. Like it would be the main story across the world.
Well, I think what like probably fluid on the fire here is the World Economic Forum and how they're all like, you'll own nothing by 2030 and be happy. And how they say, like, you will eat the bugs. Like, that shit's weird, man.
What?
You've never heard of that?
No, what the fuck is this?
Bro. So...
Dude, I don't crawl through this shit. I don't have time.
So... it's a group of elites that meet in Switzerland every year, sometimes twice a year, and they've been doing it since 1970. And they basically plan, like, how society will be in the future. It's essentially a group of unelected global leaders that want to shape like how we live. And that's why a lot of people point towards Project Bluebeam, saying that that'll help them hit their goals. Because essentially what would happen in Project Bluebeam is if aliens were to invade, the government would say, hey, like we can fix this, but give us power. And they'll essentially strip us of our rights and try to implement what 2030 is, their vision essentially. Which again is you'll own nothing and be happy. We'll be renters. And, I've heard a lot of like podcasts talking about this, and it kind of also coincides with like AI, because if you truly are a believer in AI, and I will say I am to a degree, because I've seen how great it is.
It's insane, dude. Like there's some videos now that it's, upon immediate glance, you cannot tell.
Well, it's going to displace jobs to a significant degree, probably within 5 years. And if you're a government, like generally the more people you have, you'll consider them like an asset on a balance sheet. But like once AI comes out and people are out of work, that like population will become a liability. People who don't work, that are not a part of the economic system, they're likely to revolt. Most revolutions come from the populace not being able to eat. And every time there's a revolution, the elites get killed every time. And, you know, they kind of point out like this could be Blue Beam. They're going to like put us on a social credit score. They're going to watch us. They're going to make sure that we can't do that. It gets pretty deep, like if you look into it. But anyways, I'll stop.
But the funny thing is, the both skeptics and the conspiracists agree on one point: that 3i Atlas is amazing. They just agree on why it's amazing. One side says amazing scientific opportunity. The other says amazing secret plot. So, I mean, no matter what, like when you think and dissect of 3i Atlas, it's an incredible thing, right? But like, what side do you subscribe to? Like, why for you is it such a big idea?
Yeah, let's pause there. Britton, where do you subscribe? If you couldn't pick Comet, what would you select?
I mean, I don't think it's an alien. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an alien coming.
If you had to pick,
you think it's a
you had to pick one or two, not the Comet. Which one would you pick?
I'm gonna say Project Bluebeam, man.
I'd go Blue Beam too.
Yeah, I don't think it's an alien. I think that it's being made out to be, like we've talked about. I don't think it's an alien. It'd be cool. I'm like, an alien invasion is a big fear of mine to 100%, but it'd be cool. But I'm going Project Bluebeam.
I'll go with Blue Beam as well, just because I do think that a lot of people, like they've done studies with like people who are CEOs, and you know, outside of like truck drivers, like CEOs are like the number one likely role for someone to be a psychopath.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be a straight up psychopath to get to the top, because you gotta be, you know, like I don't think a lot of good people get to the top, whether it's government or a business, right? And like for me, like if you're a psychopath, you really want to control others, you know? And I wouldn't be shocked. Like I don't think there has to be necessarily a formal conspiracy for interests to align for people just to say like, hey, let's take over the masses. Let's make sure that we hold all the power. And I wouldn't rule that out. That's where my mind would go. Anyways, we'll pause. Let's go to final thoughts. Or whatever.
I was gonna say, to that point, like you don't get to the top by being good, right? You don't. Like you have to do some shit to get to the top. Like it's not always clear, cut, and dry. Like it's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up with some final thoughts. And as we do, of course, we always turn it to you, our listeners. Like, let us know what you think. Is it alien spacecraft or is it Project Bluebeam? But as 3i Atlas races towards its close approach to the sun and then back into the cosmic abyss, we're left in awe. Awe at the science. We're witnessing material older than Earth, from a star system light years away, fizzing and glowing in our skies. In a short span, we detected carbon dioxide geysers, exotic chemistry, even hints that challenged our understanding of comet physics. Every telescope, from Hubble to JWST to observatories on the ground, it's hungrily collecting data, because once 3i Atlas is gone, it's gone. Who knows when the next interstellar visitor will come, or what secrets it will hold. We're also struck by the speculation, how something as dry-sounding as interstellar comet 3i Atlas can spark imaginations worldwide. There's a spooky sort of romance to the idea of an alien craft disguised as a comet, a trope of science fiction that suddenly felt almost plausible for a moment. It led to spirited debates within science and a flurry of creativity outside it. Dark humor cropped up in internet memes, like, if aliens wanted to prank us, of course they'd ride in on a comet named Atlas, after the Titan who holds the sky. Some joked that maybe it's just E.T. doing a drive-by, checking on Earth's 2020 insanity and deciding to keep going. E.T. for no.
Get your Reese's Pieces, people.
Dude, if a comet flew by dropping Reese's Pieces, I'd be a happy guy. Just saying.
Why are they glowing? I'm gonna eat them anyways.
It's like they can just join the radioactive shrimp. The tone of our exploration tonight has been spooky, curious, and darkly humorous, because that's exactly the mood the 3i Atlas has evoked. It's eerie to think of a visitor from deep space sweeping through our celestial backyard. It's curious how much we're learning from it scientifically, and it's darkly humorous how quickly we humans project our hopes and fears onto this little vagabond ice ball. We went from, oh, cool, a comet from another star, to, could it be aliens? To, watch out, it's a government trick, in just the span of a few weeks. It's a cosmic Rorschach test. We see it in 3i Atlas, whatever our imaginations are primed to see.
You know, I'll be a little bit relieved after he leaves in October. Hopefully he doesn't hang around too long because, we'll probably accuse it of a lot of things, whether it be bad weather, hurricanes, or anything else. So, poor Comet can't catch a break.
I agree. There's a lot of things you could blame on this poor little bastard just flying through space. But perhaps the best approach
Ruined
is
my marriage. Just kidding.
Fucking through
Fucking Comet.
entire life.
Get a divorce
I'm
now.
gonna go to space and kick the shit out of this fucking rock.
We'll make a movie out of it. Piece of shit.
Piece of shit. Fuck
There's
3i
really
Atlas. It
aliens
ruined
on
my
it too
life.
when we land. Blow up this goddamn comet.
I'm gonna fucking kill it. So enjoy the mystery, but don't lose sight of reality. 3i Atlas reminds us that the universe is full of wonders and we're only just beginning to glimpse it. Today it's a CO2 spewing interstellar comet. Tomorrow it might be something even stranger. It's okay to entertain far out ideas. It's part of the fun. But we also have to follow where the evidence leads. And so far, the evidence says that 3i Atlas, while unusual, behaves as a natural comet, just with an extra dash of cosmic weirdness. If someday we do find an alien craft in our solar system, it will likely announce itself more definitively, maybe through radio signals or unmistakable maneuvers. The comet gave us a wink of intrigue, but not the undeniable. We are not alone proof. And if, hypothetically, some power tried to use a comet to fake an alien crisis, well, scientists around the world would be all over it, and it'd be hard to keep such a ruse airtight. In the end, truth has a way of asserting itself, like sunlight cutting through a comet's coma. As we bid adieu to 3i Atlas, let's appreciate the almost poetic scene. A traveler from far off, glowing eerily as it swings by the sun, then disappears into the dark, leaving us with more questions and that ever-present sense of wonder. It's a bit like a ghost story in the sky. Here for a moment, uncanny and beautiful, then poof, it's gone. We got to be the lucky witnesses. I mean, it is cool, right? This is, I think, kind of almost a once-in-a-lifetime sort of deal, right?
I mean, we've had 3 interstellar objects come through our area in the last 5 years, but this one's definitely the most interesting. I don't know, honestly, because maybe we just got the technology to check. However, I do want to say this episode is sponsored by ProBlock. ProBlock is a nice little device that you put under your underwear that blocks your hole. And that way, aliens don't get you in the night. ProBlock at problock.com.
You fucking idiot. What was that? It's always good to have sponsors.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Put in our what do you say? Put in our code. God damn it.
Oh, yeah. No, hey, I got it. Put in a code. Don't enter my abyss. 31.
For 10% off.
No one's entering your hole if we have anything to say about it.
Abyss approved.
Keep your abyss a one-way exit.
Keep your hole tight.
And that perhaps is the greatest gift of such mysteries. They make us curious. They remind us that the abyss of space is vast and full of surprises. We hope that you enjoyed this journey with us, blending science fact with a pinch of speculative fiction. It's not often that we get to discuss hyperbolic orbits and Project Bluebeam in the same goddamn breath. Hey, do you want to say walk-out balcony for me, you fucking idiot?
Walk-out balcony. I'm not Australian. It reminds me of those videos that have gotten popular on TikTok. It's like, say hello. Hello. I don't know how the Australian people do it.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Hello. No.
No.
No. No.
Yeah, Norwal? Like, what the fuck? All right, well,
No.
let's
No.
let's go to our paid subscribers. Let's just transition over there.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to end it for tonight, folks. But as always, we want to give a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show: Soylent, Cleat Feet, Lara, Mothman, Conklin Family, and Lou. Thank you so much for your paid support. It tremendously helps us out. And if you yourself would like to join these amazing people, there is a link below and several tiers to choose from, as well as a link that will take you to our one-time beer donation spot of the show. Because, you know, Cleet and I like to drink while we talk about aliens and things that go bump in the night.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. As always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.